What's going on, everybody? Safari Sadek here. I did a video called Tidal, as in Tidal Wave 42. And at the end of the video, I went into the information, some information that I'm about to really expound on in this video right here, because there's something about SYSBM that none of you people know about. You haven't even really considered it. Well, I'm going to put a link to that video in the description box of this one. And for those of you that haven't seen that video, you need to go watch it so you'll know what's going on with this Title 42 situation, because all of that is prophetic, okay? And it's getting ready to reshape the SYSBM ideology, which stands for Save Yourself Black Man. But in this video, I'm going to show you how that's going to change, okay? And I'm going to the scriptures and show you how all this, is going to morph into something bigger than what has already been going on. Without further ado, let's get into this. The mystery of SYSBM. Let's start this off with 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 8. Now he, passport bros, that planteth, and he, green card dudes that watereth, are one. SYSBM. The opposite sides of the same coin, so to speak. I'm going to make it make sense. And every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 8. And so the green card dudes are like the stateside version of the passport bros of SYSBM. We get a little further down. I got a little chart I'm going to show y'all and explain what that, what I'm talking about. Just kind of bear with me right now. All right, now let's look at 2 Corinthians chapter, let's look at John chapter 4, verses 37 through 38. And herein is that saying true. One, passport bros, soweth, and another, green card dudes, reapeth. I sent you, green card dudes, to reap that whereon ye bestowed no labor. Other men, passport bros, labored, and ye, green card dudes, are entered into their labors. It's John chapter 4, verses 37 through 38. Like I said, I'm going to make it make sense, I promise. Let's look at 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 13 through 14. For I mean not that other men, passport bros, be eased, and ye, green card dudes, burdened, but by an equality, that now at this time, passport bros, your abundance, which is your expatriate experience, being able to, travel globally and everything, and fit in with various cultures and this, and that, and the other, may be a supply for their green cards dudes want. And their green card dudes abundance, which are a lot of these foreign contacts that they're getting ready to start making, also may be a supply for your passport bros want, that there may be equality. And that's 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 13 through 14. So what is this contrast that I'm going back and forth between? Okay. Green card, Title 42, for those of you that don't know, like I said, you got to go watch the other video that I did, and I go into intricate detail about that. But in a nutshell, they're removing Title 42, which Donald Trump put into effect around about 2017 to keep them from anybody from coming over here into this country through the U.S.-Mexico border via Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, or California. And this is when he started working on his infamous wall project. Okay. Well, today is the 20, I think, 2nd or 3rd of December. I don't really keep up with the dates anymore. But coming into this new year, they're going to remove that. And there are thousands upon thousands of immigrants from Central and South America and other countries that's mixed in with them, camped out at the southern border all the way from Texas to California. Right now, as we speak, what they're showing you in the news, they're not really showing you everything. See, I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona. As I get down into this lesson, I'm gonna reveal some things to y'all that's really going on that you're not hearing much about in the news because they're trying to cover this up. But the green card dudes are going to be all you guys that didn't get passports, that stayed behind but decide you're not going to deal with these women like the passport bros, whereas this huge influx of foreigners overtake this place. A lot of them women that's, you know, in that number or in those numbers are going to be gunning for us. Oh, yeah, they are. See, I was homeless from October 2020 to just this past March 2022. I came all the way across the southern United States from Mobile, Alabama, all the way to where I am now, Phoenix. I was homeless in Dallas, Texas, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, back to Dallas, Texas, left there at San Antonio, Texas, left there, went up through Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was stranded there for about 12 hours. Then from there to Flagstaff, Arizona to here. But it was too hot. This was September of 2021. So I went to Las Vegas, Nevada. I was up there for about 5.5, 6 months. And eventually I ended up back down here this past February. So I know what's going on in these border state cities and everything. I know more than what's being talked about on the news. And the black men in these cities down here, in these states that are bordering Mexico, are not suffering like the rest of y'all. They're not, because the Latina, like I call this place like comparable to San Antonio, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, because the Latino population here is damn near 85%, and then you got blacks and then whites and whatever else outside of that. So the black women don't have the same leverage, you know, in these two cities that they have in other cities like Dallas or Mobile, Alabama, and, you know, other places in the Southeast and the Northeast and the Midwest. They don't have that same clout here. They're vastly outnumbered. And now they get ready to be even more outnumbered by a bunch of fit, feminine, and friendly women that were born and raised in a patriarchy. So the green card dudes stand to benefit from that, never having to get a passport and leave here to find that. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But ain't nobody else talking about this yet. But as this continues, you're gonna be talking about it. All right, I just finished 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 13 through 14. Now let's look at Jeremiah 50 and 8. Passport bros, remove out of the midst of Babylon, America, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, which is generally speaking North America, and be as the he-goats, the first wave before the flocks, the green card dudes. That's Jeremiah 50 and 8. So the passport bros of SYSBM could be compared to like the spies that Joshua sent into Jericho before the main force came through, or the spies that Moses sent, you know, before the rest of the nation came up. That was the purpose for the passport bros. And I was just watching a video, and they were talking about how when Kevin Samuels passed, how all these bitter, angry ass black women were celebrating and this and that and the other and blah, 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 because he was telling them the truth about themselves and revealing and uncovering the veil of delusion that they live under and everything. So when he died, they celebrated. That right there is kind of what triggered A lot of brothers in mass to get passports. Like, oh no, if that's what we're dealing with, they'll be willing to celebrate they hate us that much, out of here. And man, it triggered these demons in ways that none of us ever could have anticipated. But the worst is yet to come. They were just the he-goats, the spies, the first wave. So if y'all got triggered by that, y'all are not going to make it when this Title 42 gets lifted. Y'all aren't going to make it. Because when Title 42 gets lifted, you're not going to have to worry about being on social media, running your mouth about, what these brothers could be doing in these other countries, because you're going to be seeing it in a hood near you. And you think you got to compete now? Oh, yeah, the green card dudes is get ready to transform SYSBM all the way around. Now, let's look at Ecclesiasticus, which is in the Apocrypha, chapter 34, verses 9 through 12. A ban, in this context, passport bros that have traveled knoweth many things. And he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. And that's what they do on their social media channels and, websites or whatever else they got going. Verse 10, he, green card dudes that hath no international travel, knoweth little. But he, passport bros that have traveled, is full of prudence. And in a travel period will, make your ass wise and hip to a lot of stuff. International travel, that's going to put you on a whole nother level. Verse 11, when I traveled, I saw many things, and I understand more than I can express. I can relate to this. God knows. Verse 12, I was oftentimes in danger of death, yet I was delivered because of these things. That's coming out of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 34, verses 9 through 12. And this travel experience is that abundance that the passport bros brings to the table. What I just shared with you in 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 13 through 14, that international travel, how to expatriate in other countries and, things of that nature. Well, the green card dudes are going to get ready to start coming into a lot of foreign contacts in terms of women. Because a lot of these women that come over here and everything, like I told you in that last video, when they see how they're being treated in these, FEMA centers and all these other places where they keep them, they're going to hit the streets. Because they're used to being in poverty. So being on the streets here will be totally different than being on the streets in their country. Especially when they know we can, be out on the streets, get fed every day and everything. Only in this country can you do that. All right? And they know that. So they won't mind living in a tent. They're doing it. They've been doing it down there at that border. Been doing it. So it ain't going to be nothing to them. Now, because the homeless population in this country is already exploded historically, they're just going to blend in with it. When I was in San Antonio, Texas, out on the streets and everything, it was us and the Hispanics together. No matter, what enclave, because there were many enclaves all over that city. We made up 95% of that. The white people were under us. Okay, and what you saw out there was mostly OGs like myself with younger Latina women out on the streets. You didn't hear no whining, no complaint. And we sit down at night and talk, like sitting around a communal campfire and stuff. And you listen to what a lot of them were saying. It was like, hey, being on the streets over here is way better than having a house in our country and suffering in there. And they're right. They said out here we get fed resources and everything. We ain't got to work for it. So why should we try to go through the stress and strain of getting a house, getting a job, doing this, doing that, and blah, 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 when we're getting everything out here for free? They said, well, we come from, this is paradise compared to where we're coming from, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, places like that. Venezuela and some of them other countries down there. So a lot of brothers that are getting kicked out on the streets, if you're in one of these border states, this is where the green card dudes thing is kicking off in these border states. You're out on the streets, you can have companionship out on the streets that you can't have now from one of these Latinas. They're just as content. You ain't got to worry about them worrying about fake hair and eyelashes. Man, look, you out on the streets, that crap is not practical. All right, let's find out where the food is being given out today and everything. And you know, your list of priorities are totally different when you're on the streets compared to when you're, you know, living in the rat race, so to speak. So you're going to be with a fit, friendly, and feminine woman in her natural state that was born and raised within a patriarchy while you're out on the street. She's going to be looking to you for protection and provision because you are a citizen here. To her, you are her lifeline to necessary resources for her survival, the way it should be, as opposed to what we got to deal with here, which caused the passport bros to take off. You ain't got to deal with that out on the streets. So those of you that may be facing imminent homelessness and everything, hey, it might not be as bad as you think. You just got to, you know, be indoctrinated with the right information. That's what this is. That's what this is about. And I'm telling you all this from experience. I'm not just somebody making a video just trying to get views. I don't have time for that. Okay, what did it say right there in Ecclesiastes 34? It's verse 9. A man, and I have a passport, but I didn't never have to use it. We always had it as an insurance policy. With a passport bro that have traveled, or a man that have traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. That's what I'm doing. See, I got like the best of both worlds. That's what I know. That's how I know what this is prophetically, and with real life experience, I see what's coming. All right, so let's see what we're at now. Look at this right here. You got SYSBM, you got your passport bros versus your green card dudes. And you see above passport bros, SYSBM stands for Save Yourself Black Man. But down here, when it comes to the green card dudes, it stands for Stay Your Ass Stateside Black Man. So it's win-win for all of us. Okay, let me blow this up so you can see the green card right there. You see right there at the top right, Title 42. That's what's going to kick that off, that movement. So all you women that were triggered by the passport bro, which was a very small fraction of the population of men that left here, triggered y'all that bad. This right here, if you were triggered that much by the passport bro, when the green card dudes start getting it in, y'all not gonna make it, man. Because these people are not gonna fit all in El Paso, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, and other places. They're not. So they're gonna have to get bussed all over the United States. There's no way they can all stay there. There's not enough room. And I got a video clip I'm gonna show you a little bit later and show you what the effects that we're going through already. Boy, 2023 gonna be hell. But at least the men in this country that have been degraded, and it's almost as if we're being forced and bullied to deal with the worst degenerate bartered female population on the planet. Green card dudes, hey, we're not dealing with that no more, because we don't have to get a passport and leave here. They're coming to us. And a lot of the passport bros that left and you know, going to come back, they're going to link in with the green card dudes, and we're going to compare notes, and we're going to make this thing SYSBM. We're going to make it happen. Y'all going to be on the losing end. And see, y'all not thinking about this part right here because you stuck on the passport bros. Still crying about that. You're not even looking at the greater threat that's getting ready to be happening right in your backyard. Not even considering it. All right, at this point, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about the contrast between the women that are coming here and the ones that are already here. All right, let's look at Ezekiel chapter 16, verses 31, verses 30, through 34, I believe. I'll show you the precept when I get to the bottom. And this is going to show a contrast between what we have to deal with here, or what we refused to deal with here, as opposed to what's coming here. Now, first, we're going to start out talking about, the problems that are here in this hellhole right now. How weak is thine heart, saith Ahiah, seeing thou doest all these things, the work of an imperious, whorish woman. That's what we're dealing with. And that thou buildest thine eminent place in the head of every way, and makest thine high place in every street. In other words, you're globally spreading toxic feminist propaganda everywhere, ruining the next generation and a generation that's just creating a perpetual cycle of hopelessness just because you got hurt by Pookie and Ray Ray in your early 20s. And that's really what this is all about. All this garbage y'all talking about, men ain't shit and musty, dusty, rusty crook. That's Pookie and Ray Ray. The low-hanging fruit that y'all can't stay away from. And then when, you get sick from eating them crab apples, now you want to start crying and spreading all this toxic feminist ideologies all over the place. TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, and whatever else. Because of poor decision making on your part that you're too delusional and proud to admit. And then you still turn around and go mess with Pookie and Ray Ray. Because you are the spawn of Pookie and Ray Ray. So that makes y'all LaQuisha and Nene. But yet you complain after these dudes do what you brought them up to do. There was no man around. So what do you expect Pookie and Ray Ray to do? But can't nobody tell y'all nothing. You're too educated for your own good. And has not been as a harlot or a typical whore, and that thou scorn is higher. In other words, refuse compensation. You just want to be a whore. Watch this, verse 32. But as a wife that committeth adultery, which taketh strangers instead of her husband. See, this is what's setting y'all apart. Not saying that they don't do that, them women down there, but that's not culturally acceptable like it is here. That's not praised like it is here. That's not glorified like it is here. That's the difference. You notice, but as a wife, that's what men want nowadays. We're tired of this hooking up and, wham, bam, thank you, man. When men start getting older in their lives and start making moves and, becoming more responsible, this, that, and other, this, playing around shit, No, we're looking for wives at that time to grow old with. Little girls and play toys and all that, that's Pookie and Ray Ray garbage. That's y'all's domain. Men want wives. And these women that are coming up here want husbands. They don't want gigolos and Pookie and Ray Ray. So that's not happening. So this is what separates y'all socially from these women. But let's look at this in Ecclesiasticus chapter 23, verse 23. For first, she have disobeyed the law of the Most High. Strike one. And secondly, she have trespassed against her own husband. Strike two. And thirdly, she have played the whore in adultery and brought children by another man or other men. Strike three. Which is known as matriarchal polygamy. That's non-scriptural. That's against the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That ain't nothing but whorism that under the law was punishable by death. Well, you better get the you're not us. You see, that's y'all's number one problem. You feel like you can compete with us and do everything that we do. Okay, well, let's come around full circle now. You thought the passport bros kept you up at night. The green card dudes, that's what's gonna damn send y'all right over the edge, and good riddance. Back to Ezekiel 16, verse 33. They, Johns, give gifts to all whores, but thou givest thy gifts to all thy lovers, and hirest them that they may come unto thee on every side for thy whoredom. That's why you got these worthless niggas, Pookie and Ray Ray, sitting up in your Section 8 hood apartment or whatever. Nigga won't brush his teeth, won't wash his ass. All he doing is sitting there rolling up blunt. You got cigar tobacco all over the floor and just pathetic. We got a stack of video games over there with his PlayStation 4. Won't take the trash out, won't do nothing. But you let this nigga come in there and do all that. Why? Because he got that good dick, girl. We don't want them old lame niggas. We all the way into your 30s, this is all y'all think about. Playing like children. Living with children. Pookie and Ray Ray. The ones that you all groomed to do. And it's okay if Pookie and Ray Ray is sitting up in there and ain't doing nothing. Because whenever you ready, you know, all right, y'all, you know what time it is. Pookie Ray Ray roll over on top of you. When he get done, he go back, take this game off save, and keep going. Nigga ain't motivated to work at all. So there's no hope for any type of, you know, retirement plan out of them. They're not gonna work because you're giving all that the government gives you to them. Just so long as there's no marriage. You can't have no husband in there now. You can't, none of that. But you can let Pookie and Ray Ray come in there all day long. All you people are just breeders. That's all you are. Genetically modified nigloids. That's this 304 thought culture. And now you want to spread all this toxicity and everything. When you reach 30 and hit the wall and realize, man, I didn't think, you know, now you see all these other women out here got things going on for them. Now you want that. You don't deserve it. Them women had to give up all that playing and goofing off that you've been able to do to get what they got. See, you're not going to get to have your cake and eat it too. That's another one of them delusions. So this matriarchal polygamy, that's y'all's #1 enemy right there. Wanting to do what men do. Got all these different men's DNA in you. When you had these kids, you're bringing in a bunch of damn demons and monsters. All from these Pookies and Ray Rays. All right? But these women coming up here, they don't get down like that because they don't have public assistance. They're coming here in hopes of getting it. And all the ones that I've come in contact with, the majority of which, when I was in San Antonio, Texas, and here, when they get on it, they can have their husbands with them. And the majority of them do. And they build nuclear families around that. Not y'all. I'm strong and independent. We don't need our man. That's what you should be saying. Because you damn sure need that white man and his resources. Because you're a bunch of consumers. You don't produce anything except Pookie and Ray Ray and LaQuisha and Nene. But all this get ready to change now. Now the competition is going to be so fierce, a lot of y'all are just going to die off. You're not going to live to be old and bitter and alone. You're just going to die off from anxiety attacks when you see what's coming. Yeah, verse 33. Johns give gifts to all whores, but thou givest thy gifts to all thy lovers, and hirest them that they may come unto thee on every side for thy whoredom. Because that's all y'all care about is some damn dick. Just like it started out, how weak is thine heart. Verse 34. And the contrary is in thee from other women, and thy whoredoms. See, at least they, you know, okay, if they're going to hook up with a man, they're going to get some kind of compensation out of it. Not you. You'll get public assistance and everything, and they're taking it in and they just give it away to Pookie and Ray Ray. Contrary. Whereas none followeth thee to commit whoredoms. They're not, when these women come up here, they're going to separate themselves from y'all. Because the same social media that you putting all this toxicity on and everything, while they're down there on that border, camped out and everything, they got phones and they're watching all this stuff and they're taking notes, taking the very men you can't get. The only thing you gonna have is the same Pookie and Ray Ray you always had. You taught them how to get what you can never have because of this. Way to go. And in that thou givest a reward, and no reward is given unto thee. Therefore, thou art contrary. The only thing Pookie and Ray Ray gonna do is knock you out or knock you up. Yeah, and in some cases, knock your ass out. I'm gonna show y'all these two video clips right here, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about this.
Hey, it's gonna be a lot of people that's not gonna want me to tell y'all, you know, that I'm getting ready to tell y'all now. Men, you need to watch who you fucking with. I'm in a whole lot of witch, oracle, empress, black women coming into the craft type groups. It is hundreds. I have seen hundreds of pictures of you dudes. Do you understand me? That these women is putting inside of these groups, and on full moons and on new moons, they straight up casting full flat out spells on y'all because y'all out here being dirty. Look, black men, tell that woman if you fucking around with somebody else, like they straight up fucking y'all lives up, and y'all think it's some invisible God out here making you have car accidents, making you be being stuck to a woman, and you can't never let her go, and you can't never get away from her, cause she didn't put blood in your motherfucking food. She got your picture in the middle of a group with hundreds of other little young ass witches that ain't got no guidance, that ain't got no type of structure and discipline over them, and they just casting. You got 30 to 100 motherfucking women, y'all, sitting here saying, drive him into hell. May he pay for what it is that he did to her. Even if you just made a simple ass mistake, you know what I'm saying? You done pissed her off today. When you out here dating these women, you need to ask them what the fuck they believe in. I don't care. Just because she a Christian do not mean that she is not playing around with her witch friends and blood magic, the power of blood. Do you understand? Black women don't believe that motherfucking Jesus Christ shit. We know what the fuck our blood do. We have always known. I'm telling you, black men, watch who you fucking with. Almost every black woman know that if she want a man to put blood in his motherfucking spaghetti, put that shit in his motherfucking tea, whatever, they out here doing it, and I'm watching them. Black men, y'all better watch y'all motherfucking selves and start getting y'all life right. Quit playing with these women out here. They sinking y'all. All y'all asses either locked up. Y'all in some fucked up shit out here. The future of the black man, these young black men, it's not fucking looking good. Like, y'all need to get into y'all wisdom, into y'all own motherfucking knowledge, and find out who you are, find out who your ancestors are. Y'all out here fighting against shit y'all don't even know y'all fighting against. Like, this shit powerful as hell.
What you guys have seen,
American
this
women,
clip.
black women, listen to me. Do not get triggered by these passport bros wanting to leave. You can actually make a commission off of them leaving. This is why you see me recommending apartments, dropping tips, and y'all in the comments like, don't give them no tips. Why not? Matter of fact, reach out to me. You can make a commission for referring clients over to realtors in these other countries. Let me know if you want to know more. As quiet as it's kept, living in the Dominican Republic, you see nothing but black realtors, nothing but black women realtors. They are killing it in the Dominican Republic. Why these passport bros traveling abroad and do whatever, y'all are actually coming outside of the country and killing it. This is like an unkept secret that y'all really need to know. Like, it's crazy.
So you think that's the solution to your problems? Really? Well, let's go into the scriptures and see if that's going to work for you. Let's look at Isaiah chapter 19, verse 3. And the spirit of Egypt, Babylon, America, shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they, you modern feminist women, shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. Isaiah 19:3. See, everything that's being done is written in this book. But because when you go to church, y'all got pastors like Bishop Whitehead up in there and everything. That's why you niggas don't know nothing. That's why y'all don't know nothing. That's why you don't know that everything you're going through was already prescripted. So you think going in there and putting some nigga's name in a hat with a bunch of other dudes and man. Instead of just saying, you know what, man, we are the problem. We're the reason why these passport bros even started doing all that. And when all this other stuff, but see, y'all not good because of your pride and your arrogance, and you just refuse to accept any accountability for any of this crap that you all collectively created, but you want to do this right here as if that's going to help your situation. Let's look at Isaiah 47, chapter 12 through 13. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. A lot of y'all been doing this since you were real young, especially in the deep south. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Well, we'll see. Thou art worried in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators, which is horoscopes, stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Well, let's see if it'll work. And while I'm thinking about this right here, I'm going to tell y'all something about magic and shit like that. Because about 12, 13 years ago, I was an apprentice wizard, a high level one. Okay? I know shit that most of these people that claim to do what y'all don't know what you're talking about, man. You don't know what you're doing. But in the basic sense, whenever you're dealing with spell casting and spell crafting, which most of you don't know anything about, what you need to understand is energy is always in constant flow. All right? So if you want to remove something or cause something to be moved, it has to be replaced with something else. That void cannot be there much long. Okay, that's the basic magic theory. Because energy is always constantly moving. So when y'all acting up and everything and these passport bros took off, now a void has to be filled because of that. Title 42. For the same cause. And because y'all are going and causing this stuff with working this magic, not knowing what you're doing, and just going from one false prophet to some false wizard, you know, they all the same thing. They all getting you for your money. All they did was cause you to create a void that now has to be filled, and it's getting filled. That's all you did. So you just made something that, you know, just took something the size of a mustard seed to grow into a tree bigger than every tree out there. Because when these people get up in here, you thought the men leaving out of here was triggering to you. The women that are coming in here, even your Pookies and Ray Rays are going to be checking for a lot of these women because they tired of you too. Whether you want to admit that, the whole world is tired of y'all. Sick of you. That's the reason why the government is allowing this to happen, to replace you. And they work high level magic that you don't know nothing about. You're being replaced. Okay? That's what these people you're going to aren't telling you that. They're not going to tell you that. They're just going to take your money and make a fool out of you. Because that's what most of you are, fools. All right. Let's look at First Ezra chapter 4, verses 26 through 27. Because there are some dudes out there that don't believe in, you know, magic and witchcraft and this, that, and the other. Let's look at this. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, that should be because of women, and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned, for women. Why do you think that is? Because some of these women actually, got in contact with the real deal, and this is the real results. So just because you don't believe it doesn't mean it's not real. All of a sudden you start acting in ways you ain't never acted. Like, man, what the hell going on with me? And this and that and the other. This stuff is more real than, see, y'all not being properly schooled on anything. Because the European white supremacist Catholic and Christian institution, its purpose was to keep you dumbfounded and under their control. Not to enlighten you on anything. That's why they have so many doctrines among that crap. Nothing but pure confusion. All right. Let's look at Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 19. So the only dudes that's gonna, fall into y'all's clutches with this toxic feminist crap is Pookie and Ray Ray. And some of these thirsty simps and Captain Save-A-Holes and beta males and all these other clowns that don't know no better. They can be victimized by you. But the men that you really want, off limits. And you know it. And that's what's triggering to y'all. All right, let's switch gears and hold on. You know what? I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to come back. We're going to get into this. Now, when these people start flooding into this country, because, like I said, energy is always in constant flow. All them people down there have been building up like a dam. Well, the dam just broke. When the passport bros took off up out of here and everything, it created such back pressure because of that void that now the borders, especially here in Arizona, are being taken away. And it looks like The Walking Dead, a scene from The Walking Dead. They're coming in here. I'm going to show y'all a video clip here in a minute and let you see just how bad it is. That they're not really, letting you know on your lamestream media. And y'all did this, messing with this witchcraft instead of not knowing what you're doing. Architects of your own destruction. Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. The stranger, green card crew. That's what I'm going to call these people that are coming up here. The ones that's going to link in with the green card dudes, and we're going to form a coalition. Dudes are going to start getting, the sexual satisfaction that, as men, that we need and deserve. Men are some of them going to be making wives out of these women. Some of them going to get tricked off and prostituted and turned into drug zombies. It's going to be a whole host of things. But it's going to exclude you. The stranger, green card crew that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. See, that's the transference of energy. But in order for them to get up very high, what has to happen? And thou shalt come down very low. Let's look at 2 Ezra chapter 16, verses 72, and that's not 730, it's 73. Let me get that off of there. There we go. Let's check that out. For they, banks, landlords, shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Man, that's what's going on right now. Verse 73, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. In 2 Ezra chapter 16, verses 72 through 73. So while all you idiots are being evicted, because of your Pookie and Ray Ray activities and everything they done told y'all, but you're hard-headed and you think you entitled and you can do whatever you want to, as your ass get kicked out into the streets, they're going to get sucked up off the streets and put in there and not have to pay rent. The government going to put a lot of them up where you used to be. You're being replaced. How does it feel? And don't none of the men that you really want, the ones that, you know, that are responsible, don't none of them want you. So the only options you have is Pookie and Ray Ray. Because like I told you in that last video, these people are coming from a patriarchy. You're not going to divest to this group of dudes here and act a fool like you do now. They'll find you hacked up in a damn trash can somewhere. These dudes, a lot of them are part of MS-13, the Latin Kings, and they got other death coats and stuff, especially in Honduras. Man, they'll chop a bitch up and leave her body parts laying in the streets for days before anybody even do anything about it. That's what a lot of these women are running from. And you think when you see brothers out here, you know, link the green card dudes linking in with the green card crew because you're so competitive, because you can't sit your ass down and stay at a woman's place, you're going to think, well, if they can do it, we can do it too. Just like when the passport bros went and, you know, got passports. Now you want to go to other countries and call yourself buying real estate, setting up tourist traps and stuff like that. That ain't going to work here. Because you get with one of these dudes and show out and watch what happens. And don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. Because the investigation is going to be open and closed. Because they're going to have too much other things going on to try to figure out what happened to you. Yeah, that's what's getting ready to happen. These banks and landlords are kicking y'all's asses out. We told y'all this was coming. And the very administration that's doing it, y'all voted for them. Just as long as you got Trump up out of there, now look what you got. Oh, it don't matter. Trump ain't in there. That's all that matters. Oh, it's getting ready to matter. Because, see, Trump was the one that kept this from happening. See, y'all don't think. You're always into your feelings. Incapable of using logic. Trump was what was keeping this from happening. That's why they got him out of there. Now, the fool that y'all voted for and supporting everything is sitting back like some feeble old buffoon letting it all happen. Ain't doing nothing. Ain't gonna do nothing. And y'all gonna go right back out there and support him. How's that working out for Stacey Abrams over there in Georgia? Now this bitch got to pay all that campaign money back while all the white people got to keep theirs. And y'all keep supporting this crap. Let's look at 2 Ezra chapter 16, verses 42 and 46. He that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. Just like that idiot talk about, yeah, we killing it. We buying real estate in the Dominican Republic and this and that. So what? When they crash this US dollar, them people gonna take that property back. They don't owe you nothing. That's in their country. They don't owe you nothing. What you gonna do? Call the police? And they gonna go live in that shit. Verse 46, for strangers, the green card crew shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses, and take their children's captive. For in captivity and famine shall they get children. A lot of these people around here that get hooked up with some of these women, some of these dudes, because they told me this when I came back here. That was 2 Ezra 16, 42, and 46, by the way. Now the women would, you know, that are part of these death cults would take the kids back across the border and they use them as child sacrifices. Well, they ain't got that's going away. They're going to be here. So a lot of you dudes be careful with some of these women you get, you know, come in contact with. You need to find out what these women believe. Like that nigga bitch said and everything. You need to find out, you know, what are you into? Now that was probably the best advice she gave you. You need to ask, what are y'all, hey, you into that Santa Maria or you la bruja, which is Spanish for witch. What you got going on with you? All right. Don't just hop on the first thing that look like, no, you can't do that. Because you don't, even though you got a lot of people coming up here, you're going to have to weed through them, man. If you're going to be a green card dude, or you're going to have some problems. Now, I'm putting it out there right now for your own safety. Because a lot of these passport bros can tell you. All right, let's look at Isaiah chapter 32, verses 9 through 12. Rise up, ye women, talking about y'all here that are at ease, because y'all the only women on this planet that are at ease, the only ones. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Why? Because the green card crew's gonna get it. You wait, you think the store shelves are bare now? You ain't seen nothing yet. Verse 11. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant vines, for the fruitful vine, or for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. That's Isaiah 32, 9 through 12. And when y'all lose all this public assistance, because they're going to take care of these people. They don't give a shit about y'all being here. They'll just put you right out on the streets along with everybody else and let you fend for yourself. But they see, you are being replaced. I told you, energy is always flowing. So as they kick more y'all's asses out, they're going to bring them in there and y'all going to be replaced with them. And they're going to have the upper hand, and they're going to have easy access to us that you're not going to have. You're never going to have it. The only thing you ever going to have, Pookie and, say it with me, Pookie and Ray Ray. This is the generation of niggas that you all created, thinking that you was always going to be in control and on top. And let me tell you something about that, and I'm going to show you this video clip based on this right here. Yeah, when I was out on the streets, I noticed there was hardly no Pookies and Ray Rays out there. All the cities I mentioned, I could probably count on one hand the number of Pookies and Ray Rays. I saw a lot of nickel bitches out there, though. I'm seeing more and more of them come through this apartment complex that I'm living in, knocking on people's doors, begging for water and shit. No Pookies and Ray Rays. You know why? Because, see, Pookie and Ray Ray have a type of polygamy, too. You're not the only baby mama that nigga got. He got baby. I had one told me 2.5 months ago, man, living this life is hell, bro. I got this baby mama here, got one over here on this side of town. I got to get on the bus and go to another state, and this one over there. That's why when one of y'all, go through this, they'll just go to the next one. If she come up on hardship, he'll just go to the next one. And see, these are the dudes that y'all musty, dusty, rusty crap, but you laying up with them and getting pregnant by them, though, because the government incentivized it. No more. The green card crew moving into town now. What y'all gonna do, man? What y'all gonna do?
All right, moving on to our next story. The U.S. authorities in the state of Arizona have agreed to dismantle the 600-kilometer-long wall with Mexico. The decision came following protests against the wall. The fences were built along large stretches since 2017 when Donald Trump was the president. The wall is made up of 900 shipping containers and it costs $80 million of taxpayers' money. President Joe Biden has faced increasing criticism over his administration's handling of border issues, with hundreds of thousands of people being detained in recent months while attempting to cross the border. According to reports, accidents and fatalities have also resulted from unsuccessful immigration attempts, which have been on the rise as the festive season approaches. The U.S. media has reported that Brish Kumar Yadav, a resident of Gujarat in India, died after a fall while scaling the U.S.-Mexico border wall in an attempt to illegally enter the United States. His wife and 3-year-old son also suffered severe injuries. Now, the report says that all 3 family members fell from a considerable height. While Yadav's wife fell to the American side of the wall, their son fell to the Mexico side. On Thursday, hundreds of migrants bundled in coats and blankets at the U.S.-Mexico border, hoping the Christmas period will bring an end to uncertainty over their hopes of securing asylum in the United States. Many hoped entry would be easier after a 21st December deadline for the United States. But the U.S. Supreme Court this week ruled to let the policy called Title 42 temporarily stay in place. President Biden's administration had asked for the extension. Title 42 allows U.S. authorities to rapidly expel migrants to Mexico and elsewhere without a chance to seek U.S. asylum. The United States can typically only send back migrants from Venezuela, Guatemala, El Salvador and Honduras under the policy. Other nationalities, such as Nicaraguans and Colombians, are generally allowed to enter and pursue immigration cases. Several Venezuelans lamented the last-minute move and the confusion it caused. Christmas has made things even harder. Hundreds of migrants are gearing up to spend Christmas sleeping in a tent near the border in the city of Matamoros. Many have spent the last 2.5 months in the city opposite Brownsville, Texas, hoping U.S. policy changes would let them request asylum and send for their families. Migrants in other northern border cities also faced the prospect of a hard holiday season.
Turning now to a News Nation border report, 2 counties in Arizona are declaring a state of emergency as they deal with an influx of illegal migrants combined with what doctors are calling this triple-demic of the flu, RSV, and COVID. And what it's doing is it's putting a strain on our border communities, especially the hospitals in those communities. Correspondent Allie Bradley joining us live now from Yuma, Arizona, where some of these hospitals, Allie, fear that they cannot keep up with this demand.
Yeah, you're exactly right here, Marnie. So there really is only one option for comprehensive medical care here in Yuma. And when you factor in the migrant care that is really putting a strain on this healthcare system, the hospital is now waving the white flag, saying they don't know how much longer they can sustain this. They're hoping someone comes in to help. Otherwise, they may be forced to shut down.
It's the only one within 180 miles. And for a hospital that saw roughly 4,400 more patients last fiscal year versus the year prior, providing care at Yuma Regional Medical Center is becoming more of a challenge.
Because we don't have the staff, the physicians, the nurses to be able to accommodate all that, or the space to accommodate the influx that we have.
Because it is so close to the southern border, hospital officials say the amount of border crossers that come in for care is not sustainable.
We're providing uncompensated care to significant portions of people that are coming in. Our own residents don't get free care, and we have to give it to, people coming across the border.
Dr. Robert Trenchel says the hospital, which is a nonprofit, has more than $20 million in uncompensated care it has tried to recoup to no avail, putting the hospital in a tight spot.
It feels terrible, but you know what? Nobody's listening. There's no revenue source to help offset these expenses that we're incurring. We've been able to sustain it up till now. How much longer we can, I don't know.
People living in the region have felt the impacts as well. Dr. Trenchel says local women who have planned inductions have had to be rescheduled as beds are full with migrant women giving birth.
A lot of the babies wind up in our neonatal intensive care unit because they don't have a lot of prenatal care, or mom has a chronic disease that hasn't been well taken care of, and now the baby's suffering.
The hospital now raising the white flag, calling for the federal government to step in.
I mean, they're the ones that are allowing this. They're the ones that should take responsibility for this.
So a few things here. Dr. Trenchel tells me that they are grateful for that emergency declaration in Yuma County because it does provide for some additional resources like pharmaceuticals from the Strategic National Stockpile. That is something that they can benefit from. Another thing, they're talking about bringing in resources like additional tents to actually care for migrants and people outside of the facilities if it gets to that point. But he says none of that, Marnie, actually helps with the funding issues that they're dealing with right now. So while those things are good, they still need to recoup more than $20 million.
Yeah, all a Band-Aid on a bigger problem.
Let's switch gears and I'll finish this up right here. Let's look at Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 2 through 3. And the higher answered me and said, write the vision. That's what I just did with all this right here. And make it plain upon tables. That's why I color coded it so you'll understand what I'm talking about. That he may run that readeth it. So all these brothers, anybody that come up on this and everything, like, man, I would have joined the Passport Bros too, but I got a felony, I got this going on it. Don't worry about all that. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. See, just because you're not seeing this going on where you are right now, doesn't mean that it's not coming. Because it's going to move progressively. It's got to hit the border states first and saturate them, and then as they become oversaturated, then it's going to spread out and eventually to where you are. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry while it's waiting right now, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 2 through 3. So just as sure as the passport bros sprung up, the green card dudes is going to spring up too. Why? Title 42 is getting ready to pave the way. And all that energy down there, all them people down there have been building up since this pandemic started. And when that border comes down, as it's doing, they're just coming in here like, go watch the video I did, Title 42, and I go into more intricate detail prophetically why all that's happening and what the end game is going to be. And all you hard-headed, delusional, stubborn, and demonically possessed feminist bitches, y'all gonna be on the losing end of the stick, man, because ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do about it. Nothing. So if you're triggered down because of this movement of men rejecting and running away from you, the worst is yet to come. Deuces.